So behaviors that we repeat. So let's starting at the beginning of those 3 steps. The first step is becoming aware of the pattern in our lives. The second step is becoming really cognizant of the pain or the consequences of that pattern. And the third step is kind of like setting an intention for who we want to become and the goals we have, and then practicing it as much as possible.
Yeah.
And that is the 3 steps to...
The fourth, it's not a step, but the fourth factor is accountability.
Okay.
Because most people left to their own devices will give up on that process when it feels too hard.
That's step 3.
Yeah. So, you know, with years of practice and journaling, I have become better at holding myself accountable. But for most people, there's got to be some external. So it could be a friend. One of the reasons I'm a big fan of doing these action boards is that there's a very tangible thing in front of you that with images of what you said you wanted to achieve this year, which you can clearly, and your friends and family can see at the end of the year whether you did or you didn't. And, you know, of course, you can have an actual like professional person that is there, like your language teacher, to hold you accountable.
I've been really... You talked earlier about, just a second ago, about how when you're trying to create a new pathway, if there's an existing one that is very well established from your childhood, it's increasingly harder. So I've always been unorganized. I grew up in a home that looked like an atomic bomb had hit it.
Yeah.
It was just a shit show inside. It was an absolute mess. So that habit of just being messy is quite well established. The pathway in my brain of being messy is well established.
Yeah.
But more broadly, I'm thinking here about trauma and how trauma looks in the brain. When we've had really traumatic early experiences in our life, or in the context of my friend, we might have learned that we're not deserving of someone, or we're not worthy, or we're not enough, or we're different. That might be a really well established pathway. Doesn't that suggest that there are some behavior patterns that are just practically immovable, practically unchangeable?
I don't want to say yes to that, but what I am going to say is we've moved away from using this term hardwired, which kind of means like it's there forever. And we talk about soft wiring now because of neuroplasticity. I know people who have been through incredible amounts of trauma. There's going to be an example coming up on my podcast soon, who has done so much work on herself that she's really in a beautiful place as a psychologist and a Vedic astrologer, helping other people learn to deal with their trauma. So there's a lot that can happen. She was clearly a very resilient person and got herself educated. Some people deal with the consequences of trauma for the rest of their life, and you know, it runs their life, and it's sad. You may not be able to deal with every single thing that you've experienced or the full extent of what you've experienced, but I do believe that there's a lot that everybody can do.